But sometimes we're just getting out of the way and then listening happens. And I would love for you to, be open to the possibility that this kind of high quality listening doesn't have to be so effortful and tiring and maybe filling you up with ideas that you get exhausted really quickly. But the less thinking you have about listening, the more you're doing like deep listening, the more you will really get not just what the person is saying, but way, way beyond that. What comes to me is seeing the principle that we're not listening with our ears, but we're listening with our minds. Whatever we're sort of like taking in, and listening is almost, it's like a metaphor, right? It's also a metaphor for reading. It's also a metaphor for, watching. Whatever we're taking in, whatever we're listening to is, at the beginning, it's just sort of like electronic signals coming sort of like into our brains, and then they're getting converted into something else. And that conversion is not a clean conversion. It's not like a one-to-one, because each and every one of you is right now having a different experience of us and the room and what we're saying, right? So like I'm speaking some words and all of you are getting the signals, like the wave signals or whatever they're called. And in your minds, you're transforming them into something, right? You're giving them meaning, you're giving them interpretation, you're like maybe liking it or doubting or believing or judging or seeing it about yourself or whatever. So you're creating different experience of what's going on here right now. And I think that's very powerful to see. And it doesn't mean believe everything you hear, but it means if you bring that kind of listening and if you listen beyond the words, right? So then you can get a much deeper sense of what's actually going on and of that other person, right? You could listen to a politician, or maybe, right, if you go to leadership of others, if you have someone in your team and you feel like they're maybe being a bit deceitful or they're not always delivering what they promise or they're finding excuses, or you have some kind of like preconceived notion of what's going on for them, and you can recognize that more often than not that you will listen to them through that filter of the image that you already have of them. But if you let go of that image, something new can come up, right? You can listen beyond their words and you can get a new sense of who they are or what they're struggling with or why they're saying what they're saying. And that can create new ideas about what to do or what to say back or how to treat them or kind of assignment to give them. And that's like a possibility of, first level. I love what you said about the listening and what it does to you, right? Even if it's just, it gives you a better feeling. And in a better feeling, you have a higher quality of life and your mind is more open and you create new possibilities. But then when listening to another person, that creates something within you that then, vibrates out again. Be that what you say or how you say it. And that creates new possibilities for the relationship and for the other person as well. And this way, like a relationship that is not very good, for example, with someone in your team, just through the quality of your listening may transform. It's almost like this double layer. We already have a tendency to listen for what we like to hear or what we're expecting. And then if you have like outside sources feeding us more of what we like to hear and what we're expecting, it makes that tendency even stronger.
I suppose what the point that one of the things I just wanted to say about this is so often it can feel like the level of our listening or the listening that we bring is somehow dependent on the person that we're with. It can almost look like it's because I'm talking to this person or because I'm talking to that person, because I'm talking to my wife, I bring a certain level of listening, or I'm talking to somebody that works with me or a client, we bring a different level of listening. But the big thing, the click that I had at one point was, it's a choice. My level of listening is always a choice. The air hostess, that would be a choice to bring a different level of listening to that person. And what seems to me to be true now is me choosing a different level of listening for somebody where there is some kind of an obstacle with. That's what opens up possibility, because if I continue to look at that person through the same filters or same lenses, or I have the same narrative about that person, nothing is going to change in that connection or in that relationship or that problem. And what creates the possibility is for me to bring a different level of listening, and that's why we're talking about the power is with the listener. Yeah, what I'd say about that is we could turn that into a habit. We could turn that into some kind of here's what I do whenever I'm going into a conversation with this person, whoever it is that we have the challenge with. Or the way that I've come to kind of see this is, what am I not seeing? And if I can come with curiosity, it's a different way of being to come into those conversations, because if I can come with that kind of, it's not as much, it doesn't feel like an efforting. I'm kind of coming with a genuine openness. I'm coming with a curiosity of what's the thing that I'm not seeing that's causing me to see them in a certain way, because then I'm not coming with the answers already worked out. I'm coming with what's fresh here that I might be missing.
And I just had an idea, and I think something that we didn't say in the beginning, but that I usually say is, don't believe anything that I say or that we say. We're not here to trying to convince you of anything. Because if you just try to believe us, then that wouldn't do anything for you. We're trying to have you see something, right? And so if you don't like what you're hearing, that's fine. I think the best thing you can do is be open to anything, and what can I see about this? And there's something that I want to add to that, because I know what you just said and the sentiment. And this is just a graph that is not the truth, it's just an idea that I just had of how things could look maybe if you were open to it. And if that was like a graph with two axes, and that was, let's call it like quality of listening, then there's like a low point here where you have very bad, very filtered, very low quality listening. And what you just said is, I think if I want to improve my listening, I have to, put effort, right? So I have to concentrate. When I notice I'm having the filter, I have to drop it, I have to be like really present. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because I know the feeling, especially when I'm in a coaching session and I notice myself being very like effortfully listening, like concentrating very hard, then I can get also kind of drained afterwards, right? I could feel like very exhausted after a coaching session. However, sometimes after 90 minutes, I feel more energized than before. I'm not drained at all. And I think what I'm falling then into is, a very different quality of listening that I think is not about more effort and more concentration, but about more relaxation. It's basically relaxing into the listening. I think listening is like a natural state that we're doing, and then we're adding a lot of thinking onto it. But sometimes we kind of like fall into this deep listening that's coming from a more relaxed place, like when we're listening to classical music maybe. It's just like we're wide open, like it's washing over us, but it's not concentrating. It's not trying to figure out every note and focusing on every little bit. But sometimes we're just getting out of the way, and then listening happens. And I would love for you to be open to the possibility that this kind of high quality listening doesn't have to be so effortful and tiring and maybe filling you up with ideas that you get exhausted really quickly. But the less thinking you have about listening, the more you're doing like deep listening, the more you will really get not just what the person is saying, but way, way beyond that. So this is more about subtraction, whereas this is more about adding. And I would even say with this, I think the quality of your listening can become way higher.